from the Tampa Pro. And there's been a lot that's kind of gone on this week. Should be an interesting update. We're going to talk about hitting the fatigue wall, running a deload session, and also take you through, just do like my morning kind of check-in process, because this is my check-in day. So I'll show you actually what my setup is. So the first things first is that I am a hairy guy, and so the morning is always, what is the least amount of shaving that I can do to still be visible enough in my check-in pics. It's just such a fucking hassle to do it all the time, but at least shave my chest and shoulders, maybe buzz the legs. But if you're still using a straight razor, that really sucks and takes a lot of time. This tool is great. A Phillips Norelco one blade gets, relatively like pretty close. And I mean, this is actually what I use right before I go for my first tan. And it's not as close as a straight blade, but it is damn close, and it saves you a ton of time and also really limits razor burn too. Total hack for you guys. So I'm gonna do some slight buzzing and we'll take some check-in pics. Okay, so check-in photos. I'm in my closet, all my beautiful dresses and shirts. Just kidding, this is Renee's closet. Found out this is a pretty good spot to take photos. And so what we'll see is, this is my backdrop that you're normally seeing in my pictures, which this is our bedroom. It's completely blacked out. There's no windows in it, but you could do something similar in your bedroom, just have blinds or curtains, but or just buy a black drop, because that's essentially what you want. So there's no bright light behind you that blurs in with your own bright physique. Then to turn around to see the other shot is, you'll see I have I'm using, that's a Canon R7 DSLR, which I'll shoot a video in 4K and then take the screenshots of it. It is nice because, for one, it picks up great detail and it won't autocorrect like your iPhone. And you can also adjust the ISO for how dark and light the images are, especially if you're a lighter individual. And then what you also notice is that we have fluorescent, not fluorescent, but just daylight bulbs. They look super bright in the video, but it is just like a, 5600 lumen, 5000 lumen daylight bulb. So it is the best, probably artificial light that you could do. And also notice where I stand. There's no lights above head. That can cast a lot of shadows. You essentially want a light that is, roughly 5 feet, 6 feet in front of you, that is shining down onto you. That way you can actually see and be very clear in those photos. That is a more ideal setup. Now, for lighting itself, you could get a tripod and get some LED lights. The issue with an LED bulb shining directly on you, it can wash you out. Hack is you could shine them onto the ceiling or shine them onto the floor. That way it's not direct light on you, but there's some indirect light that will light up the room around you. So a few tips on using it. Now, I will show you and take you over to our posing room, which is right from our bedroom, which you have natural light that comes in. And then I have a black background. This would be awesome for photos, right? It shows all the detail and everything, but there's inconsistencies in natural light to where if you're waking up super early, you know how prep is. You start doing cardio, you start sleep gets a little altered, you start waking up when it's dark, then your lighting's changing. So in the bedroom, I can be completely consistent in my lighting at all times. Now, as we get farther in to prep, I will do some photos with some overhead lighting, which I can just walk into the closet to get more of that shadowed look, or even in my kitchen. That way, because once you get really, really lean, some of the finer details you won't catch in lighting like this. And that's where it's worth doing some of the photos also with the overhead light, just like it would be for stage lighting. You could even get away from a little bit of the daylight bulb and something a little less bright in lumens. That's more of that yellow tinge lighting, kind of like you'd have on stage. But anyway, do my check-ins. All right, took my check-in pics. Y'all can see them here. Definitely not as much condition change this week for a few reasons. Much fuller though in certain areas. The issue with last week, I had my off day and fatigue was there, but towards the end of the off day, started feeling better. That Sunday, I'm like, well, let's keep on digging. And from Sunday to Wednesday, it was a digging just into a hole. I just never really had that great of recovery to begin with. It eventually just got me to this place where I wake up and brain fog was so high, feel like an empty shell, but with all the negative emotions of just negativity, zero motivation to continue prepping, almost depressed feeling. Training's been holding on, but to go in the gym and train, just don't want to be there. Just fatigue was really, really high. And like for Renee as well, we like our preps usually align in some degree for like when we're feeling that all accumulate. And I can struggle even coaching myself sometimes with like, I am more apt to push myself harder and keep going. Like you're taking steps forward than pulling back. Because it feels like pulling back is not making progress, when in reality, dropping fatigue, getting fresh, allows you to keep taking those bigger steps forward and could propel you forward. So Wednesday, just head to the gym, like, I can't keep prepping like this. Like, something has to be addressed. And so that's when made the call, based around all those feelings, to go ahead and deload. And I'll talk about that once I get to training for the day. And at least I will continue to do so. I don't have this planned for a whole week. I don't think a whole week will need to be in place, but from Wednesday through Sunday at least, and with a food increase as well. And so what Renee and I did, we needed the mental break. So we went out on a date. We had some sushi. We had a cookie or two. And it was such a nice mental break. Went up to a shopping center and just walked around, just had a real date night. Just that alone was really nice. Kind of tells us like we need to just be getting out, doing some other stuff outside of the house for the mental break. But also just the immediate food increase from that meal was substantial, like for mood. And we try to really make this like unemotional decision. And I sat with it a bit for like, can we do this? So worry about taking days off of prep. And you're like, man, if it's not done, just won't be able to see out the prep. Honestly, it was that bad for both of us. So had that meal over the next days of this deload, did a 50-gram carb increase on off days and a 100-gram carb increase on train days. And today is a training day. So I end up not even doing my pull session yesterday. So today, when we get into training, it'll be a mix of legs and back together, like almost a full body session. Because when we get there, I'll talk about it. But and so 100-gram carb increase on train days, and that's what I am doing today. And I'm not going to show you all the meals today. I don't think it's. Y'all might want to see them, but just the quick one. Like, this is my meal one, so it is 280 grams of egg beater, 100-gram total of a mix of asparagus and spinach. And asparagus and eggs is delicious. Have some salt added, also some Cholula habanero sauce. Today we are doing 3 halves of bagels, one and a half bagel. These are Dave's Killer bagels. And I love peach, man. So it's like peach sugar-free jam on these. I like putting egg on my bagel and eating it that way. Then also have my fruit, which is 75 grams of blueberries and 100 grams of peaches, more peaches. So base diet just for the day, 100-gram carb increase across the first 4 meals. So 25 grams added to those meals. And no cardio across these days, just taking a break because the legs just feel dead. So just still getting my steps in, so hit 10 to 12,000 steps per day, but no spin bike. And this is what's happening in place, and I will carry out the day. Let's keep going. All right, doing my pre-workout meal walk, get some extra steps in. I'm 4,000 steps, just do like a 10 to 15 minute walk. Looked at my check-in pics, compared them to last week. Of course, I hit a low last week of 229.8, so being up 4 pounds, feeling like you're gonna be a watery mess, but actually comparing, it's like, damn, looks like just a ton fuller and not really any drop in conditions. So definitely see it all throughout my upper body, my quads, maybe just a slight bit of water in my lower back. But I think with having these next days, with diet being just a little bit higher, the sodium will be regulated since that untracked meal. Should see like a really tighter look come through. So just have to keep more of and collect the data from it and keep an open mind about, utilizing higher carb days and not get so being, competing 212, you can get kind of scale weight focused, admittedly. So big news that I thought I would just announce here is that we applied to be a accredited provider for NASM CEUs through J3U for level 1, and we got approved. So now we are an official NASM provider for continuing education for the level 1 course. So I still have to apply for the rest of the courses, but I feel like this was a big moment for us, especially with in the realm of enhanced competitors for what we do, to be recognized as an education body by something that's, I feel like NASM's pretty prestigious and has a lot of good contributors to their materials that I respect a lot. So that's a big one. That's a huge news that I wanted to share with everyone that's been following along. Also, another just completely random, jumping another topic, since people like my vehicles and cars and trucks and stuff. So the Chevy we drove, that got dropped off yesterday to get the airbags fixed, which they were leaking, get the overheating issue corrected, and then they might have a leak on the transmission pan. It's fucking everything, right? As I was backing out, I saw like a little bit of fluid in the ground. There's probably like the AC pulley belt might need to get adjusted a bit. It was like, has an occasional like screech, which I will sell this truck. It's just wanted the little odds and ends corrected in it before I list it. So that was like the positive of the week, getting that out of the garage and over there to get fixed. Random thoughts, walking with John. If you want an American Bully, this is the level of silly that you get. Hey, you silly? Logan, you silly? Yeah, you silly? You silly guy? American Bullies are only silly? Shake that wet towel face. Okay, we have my pre-workout meal here. This is 100 grams of just oats. Also have some cinnamon bun Animal Way and some cinnamon sprinkled in. So have that. And then also we'll have 2 caramel rice cakes for some extra carb additions. I already have my post-workout meal laid out here too. 320 grams of rice, I have 170 grams of chicken, and then on the bottom are my veggies that I have, which it's a mixed stir fry, like has some broccoli, snow peas, carrots, and things like that. That's been like in since the beginning of prep. So get this down, we'll go train, have this one packed up for post. All right, so we are deloading across this with the diet break along too. So Wednesday I did 50% volume, 1 set per exercise. It's basically what it came down to. And an RIR 3, which makes it pretty simple. I look at the logbook, go up to my same work set load, and just subtract 3 reps off of what I've been doing. The next session was a pull session. I just took that off. So today lands my leg day, but I'm combining it. So it's gonna be pull and legs. Same premise though, 50% volume. Basically we'll have 3 sets of back. So we'll do 1 set of a pull down, 1 set row, 1 set of a lat base row. The other one's upper back base row. We'll do city leg curl, a leg extension, a leg press, then a glute movement. So total 7 lifts. Might have a bicep at the end, but I might throw that on for push days. Just see how I feel by towards the end of the session. But that's how I'm laying out for doing this deload while on prep. Tomorrow off day, then we'll have push from there, which will be another deload session. So pull down being first. I just go bilateral for 1, time efficiency. Also, I see this pull down as being like overall back pull down, some lats, some teres, some trap. You'll notice though, like there's a really intentional reach at the top to fully lengthen out trap series
lats. So just one set here. Kind of same premise on this chest supported T-bar row. You notice like really exaggerating that stretch position, going in thoracic flexion, letting the traps fully lengthen out, and then going into extension to really retract the traps. So just one easy set there. So we'll have a single arm lat row, and I do keep the same load on all these, and really like deloading. The most fatiguing thing is going to be total volume. From there, it's going to be your proximity of failure. Then I think from the last point is probably be the loading, and I like to keep the load the same, so you feel like when you come off the deload, you haven't been touching the same weights, and you feel like this kind of straight drop. So for me, volume's number one, then taking it to a few reps shy of failure, keeping the same load. That's enough to accomplish the task of what I need within my deload. Now, if you're running into like soft tissue connective issues, that is more like loading based or exercise choice related, and should be adjusting accordingly for your deload needs. This back row, it's been relatively easy, as it should be. I'm going to hit a rear pec deck fly. I didn't mention that earlier, so we'll do one set there. Seated leg curl will be the next choice for the day, and no lying leg curl today. Choosing seated because it does train a little bit more length, and it'll fully encompass hamstring development, and it's also braced, so it's just less taxing me than I'm doing a lying leg curl, having to brace the torso. So 3 sets here. Usually have 5 sets on leg day. So we said my single leg extension. So leg extension, leg press, that'll fully cover quad development. Not doing hack squat today. Again, a little less axial loading. And again, these movements will give the stimulus I need and keep the purpose of the deload for what it is. So 2 sets here, single leg. We do 1 set on leg press. Leg pull day is a wrap. Stayed in one piece, and I don't feel overly taxed, so successful deload prep session. All right, back home. I had meal 4, and I didn't film that because I kind of went brain dead and just ate. So it was salad, some fruit, had some rice cakes and peanut butter and chicken with that meal. Coming up to my last meal of the night, and y'all have seen this one before, so it's gonna be my oat cake concoction and a protein shake with some ice to accompany it, and that will round out the night. So have been feeling like progressively better throughout the day. Legs have been feeling lighter. So by next week, this video you'll see for 10 weeks out, should be back at it, smashing it on prep, hitting some new levels of condition and bringing it. So I won't let anybody down or myself. But anyway, hope y'all have a great night or a day, because y'all could watch this anytime, and we'll talk to you next week.